It's Friday, and like I promised last week, today is the day I'm going to finally give you a tour of our property. Now, before we do that, let me set up some expectations. We do not live in some jungle mansion. We are very primitive, very rural. We're basically camping out here. This property has been abandoned for 6 to 7 years, as I've mentioned in other videos. So there's a lot of work to be done here. We've done a lot of work already. We literally have years of work to go. So if you're expecting to see some big fancy schmancy thing, you're gonna be severely disappointed. But here's what I want to tell you. When you watch this video, I don't want you to think that, oh my God, if I move to Panama, I have to like basically camp out in a jungle with, you know, no air conditioning and washing my dishes in the water hose outside. Okay, that's what I'm doing, but that's not what you have to do. I am very fond of saying that there's a seat for every butt in Panama. You just have to find your seat. This is our seat. It's not for everyone. Your seat might be a 5-bedroom gated compound on the beach somewhere on the Pacific side that's completely fancy in a mansion. That's not our seat, okay? So, that said, let's get into it. As you can tell, I'm up at the road. We are one of the very few properties in Bocas that has main road and ocean access. That's what got me so excited about this property to begin with. But I'm more excited to show it to you, and daylight's burning. We literally have half an hour, so we gotta get going. All right, so how are we gonna get going? We're gonna get going in our UTV. Ike, what do you think? You like riding in the UTV? And he tolerates it. Okay, so we're gonna head down the road and view the property. Our first stop on the tour is the Caretaker shack. That's what we lovingly refer to it as. This was obviously on the property when we purchased it. It's one of 6 buildings, I think, that were on the property. And basically we're in the process of trying to fix it up a little bit. We're fixing the bottom cement area here to make it a secured garage area. Up top is basically one big room. There are no real walls in there until you get to the door. Then there's a wall that goes across there, and there's a bathroom, and that stuff is kind of falling in. So we're going to get in there and remodel that at some point. But for now, the push with this is to have a secured garage area. So let me show you what's going on. So this will basically be the 2-car garage, and then a little bit of extra room for storage. We're probably going to put our washer and dryer up here to make life a little bit easier for us. If you look to this side of the property where those trees are, there's a creek there. We own to the creek and a little bit past the creek. We call that the wild side over there. We don't go in there very much. There's a lot of cacao trees and things like that. We need to do more exploring over there eventually. Let's see. So let me show you this. Another feature of this property that was like a real kind of game changer is the fact that we do have a well. So this is our little well house here. We're going to make it a lot more secure here shortly. It's about a 250 foot deep well that gets some really great water from it. We have not been drinking it because we did do a well water test on it and found that there's some bacteria in it. Everything else came out clear except there is some bacteria. We're not sure if it's in the well, if it's in our storage tanks. We're not sure. So until we get to that point, we're not drinking the water. Let's see. So then you'll see this top building is finished, that it's going to have a great view of the Bocas Archipelago. So we can see Shepherd Island from here, Cristobal, and back further. So we have a great view up here, which is wonderful. And we get great breezes up here too, which is super nice. Haven't decided exactly what we're going to do with that top part, how we're going to rent it out. We're considering possibly becoming a stop for overlanders that are traveling from North America down to South America, because there's not a lot of that here on the Caribbean side, and then kind of having this be like a place where if they don't want to sleep in their vehicle, they can get a shower, wash their clothes, that kind of thing. But we haven't decided 100% yet. All right, let's jump back in and head to the next stop. The next stop on our tour is a place you might recognize from, I think it was last week's video. Yeah, last week's video. This is the site where we plan on building our home. We're probably not going to start that for a couple of years, but we chose this site for a few reasons. One, it's elevated, so we get an amazing view across the archipelago. Two, we get the great breezes. And three, we're far enough away from the road, so it's not as noisy. Oh, and four, we're far enough away from the mangroves that we don't get chitras. Chitra is a whole video in and of itself. That's the one thing that traumatizes me in Panama, chitras. Every day and every morning and every evening. We'll get to those. Okay, so I've already started kind of doing a little bit of landscaping over here. You will not be able to see it. Keep in mind that when I got here 2 months ago, I mean, this was head high in weeds and bush. So the guys, as you can see as we're driving down the road, have done an amazing job clearing this property, and it's an ongoing job. They're still clearing and burning brush every day. But this will be our home. We plan right now somewhere between a either a 2 or a 3 level house. We're still kind of working it out how we want to do it. But I also like the fact that it's over here next to the wild side. So we're by the creek, so we'll get a lot of the wildlife coming through as well. All right, let's head to the next stop. Is Ike ready? I'm not going to jump out here, but this is a stop along our way. This building here is one of 2 of this type of building. There was one up just below the Caretaker shack, and what these were originally, there were huge water storage tanks in them to slow the water down from the well. It's all gravity fed, and as you can imagine, going from the tippity top down here to the bottom, that water gains a lot of pressure and it comes out at the bottom almost like a fire hose. So this was to kind of slow it down a little bit as it came down. The water tank that was in this building was stolen over the years, but it did make for the perfect place for Panama to put our internet equipment so we can get our signal. That's because we've got a good line of sight across the water here. We don't have any trees blocking us, so that gets us a line of sight to Bocas town where we can get our signal from. I'll be talking all about how we do our internet here in a future video. But for now, let's continue heading down the road. Okay, now we're at the bottom of the property and at the bottom of the road. That road we just came down, it was here originally with the property, but it definitely was not that. For the first couple of weeks that I was here, me and Popsy and the workers were having to wade through waist-high weeds all the way down because it was completely overgrown. You couldn't even see a road. You couldn't even see a path. But the original owners had put this road in. So we contacted the man who had done that, and he came and he scraped and found the real road underneath, which changed our lives, being able to have this road. We do have a little bit more work that needs to be done on it. It does need some more rock put on it, so during rainy season it's a little safer because the road is very steep. I don't know if that showed up on film or not, but that's why we have four-wheel drive truck and our four-wheel drive UTV. That gets us up and down, no problem. Okay, so if you look over here, the property goes back quite a ways into the wild area. This cliff sort of area through here, right through here, that cliff area is the side of the creek actually. So the creek flows right through here, and we go on the other side of the creek for quite a ways over there. Again, we don't go over there too terribly much. If we start coming this direction, oh, and one thing you may have noticed as we were coming down was all this mature landscaping, which was another huge bonus for this property for me. I love plants, and the previous owner did a wonderful job landscaping this property. This pile of mess is an upcoming video. That's my Panamanian telenovela episode. So subscribe and stay tuned for that. Alright, so when we get to the bottom of the road, then we basically hit the sidewalk and hit the dock. So let's go down here. And we're going to kind of walk up, and I'm going to show you our living area. Now, this is our bodega. Basically like a storage shed is what you would call it in the United States, sort of. Very secure cement, kind of like what we have up top. This is what houses our generator and keeps our electricity running. And I will be doing an entire video on how we do our electricity here. Again, make sure you subscribe. That's coming up. Okay, so we're going to walk up to the top of the property and see some of the living areas. Welcome to our very expensive Panamanian campsite, because that's pretty much what it is right now. This area had two buildings when we purchased it. This is what we call the unfinished building, and it's pretty much an exact duplicate of the building over here, which we call the 4-unit building, but now it's a 2-unit building. I'll explain. Okay, so this building, we're not in love with it. Aesthetically, these buildings do not do the area justice. Functionally, they're great, but they just don't fit in with kind of the jungle flow. So this building will be torn down eventually, and we will basically scrap it for parts, because the metal studs and things like that that are in there are still good. So we want to be able to reuse that sort of thing. I'm out of breath. That was a deep hill. Steep hill. If you see rocks scattered in our yard, that's a new addition. The workers have been working up top clearing property, and when they come across decent sized rocks, they're bringing them down here in the UTV, and we're creating some really cool rock paths. So those will be developing over the course of the next several months. Okay, next, and when we came down the road, if you noticed it wide, we went right and then it went left. Left just brings you where our truck is parked right here. Okay, so this is the finished building. Finished is a very loose term. Originally, it was 4 units separated by walls like you see in the middle there. So there was a wall in between these two sets of doors, and you can't see them, but there was a wall in between the other two. So it was basically a bedroom and bathroom in each unit, and that was it. Well, we need to live here, so we need a kitchen. So what we decided to do is actually turn them into two units. So one unit will have kitchen and bathroom and living area. The other room in the unit will be bedroom and closet area. Now, we're living in this super messy part over here, so we're not going to be going into that one. But we've been having a lot of work done on the far side one over here. And in fact, the workers just finished up today doing a lot of things, and I haven't seen it yet. So you're going to get to see with me for the first time what they've been doing in this building. So let's go check it out. All right, so originally access for these 4 units was behind the building, which is pretty much right up against our property line, and you can't see what's going on back there. It was not a very smart design. So we brought the entryways to the front. And again, because now it's just 2 units, we have a set of stairs on each side. So Brian built those himself. All right, here we go. Okay, so this, it's gonna be echoey in here, so forgive me. But this, the rooms on the ends will be the bedrooms. So what you're looking at now will eventually be the bedroom. And behind that wall, there was originally the bathroom. And there still is a bathroom there, but we're gonna be converting it to a closet. As you can see, these I have seen. These are our custom-made French doors because all of the doors were stolen off of the buildings. So we had to have brand new doors made. They're absolutely beautiful. They're solid, gorgeous glass, gorgeous craftsmanship, custom made, $175 each in Almirante. So we're very, very pleased with Danilo, who is our woodworker guy here in Almirante. Okay, so here's what I have not seen. Oh, we did install a new fan too. All right, what I have not seen are these doors because this is what was installed today. So we have now finally doors in both units now between the kitchen living room area and the bedroom area. So let's go into what is going to be the kitchen. Oh wow, okay, cool. Okay, it's messy in here, so bear with us. Again, this just finished like an hour and a half ago. So this is our new kitchen. Look, what we're doing here is nothing super fancy. We are in the jungle. This will eventually be a rental unit for short-term rentals. So we purchased this refrigerator and this stove in David. So those will be the appliances for in here. And again, our guy Danilo, I mean, this is so awesome and so perfect. It needs to be cleaned up a bit, but this little kitchen area with the cabinets under it, $300 custom made. That did not include the sink. We bought that in Almirante. So we're going to be putting some more shelves up and things like that. Obviously, we're nowhere near finished. Okay, so in the kitchen living room area will be where the bathrooms are. And nothing has really been done in here. But if you look, can you see him, Ryan? If you look, we have a toilet, a sink, and a shower, and we've installed the quote-unquote suicide showers, but we wired them in very safely. That was very important to me. And this is another door that was installed today. So it just needs to be dusted, but wow, these doors look awesome. Okay, so the buildings are there, and this little path is going to take us to the dock. Now, we have approximately, I'd have to look back at our survey map, but I think we have about 600 feet, if I'm not mistaken, of Caribbean oceanfront. Beautiful landscaping through here. We do need to weed eat again. It grows so fast here. These trees at the bottom, just, I'm in awe of them every time I walk down here. They're just magnificent. Okay, so let's continue because we're running out of daylight. Ike is ready. He loves going down the dock. Okay, so when we make this corner, we go from the jungle to the mangroves, like immediately. We have approximately 450 feet of dock between this point right about here and the end point. So as we come through here, you can see that this is, I mean, we have some ginger and things like that, but primarily this is mangrove forest through here. The dock is cement. There are some issues with it. It's a little twisty, so we have some work that we have to do to get this dock back up to speed. Right now, I mean, we're very familiar with this area now, so we can easily look and see if it's low or high tide. It's definitely low tide right now. When it's high tide, we have water right here where we are, but the water's not until the end, way down here. Look at these gorgeous mangroves. And it is definitely our goal to protect and conserve these mangroves as to the best of our abilities at all times. Massive termite mound. All right, Ike, let's go. Let's go, dude. So as you can see now, we're getting out to the Caribbean. And here we are. It's beautiful. It's just always so cool and breezy through here. Shady. I love it. All right, so there are basically two buildings here. They're kind of a mess. This is one, it's not really a building. This is kind of where the septic area is. These buildings were extremely vandalized because they're just right here on the water. It's easy to get to. This building is one that will feature in the My Panamanian telenovela episode coming up that is in coordination with that pile of junk you saw at the bottom of the road. Okay, as you can see, we have dock, and then we don't, and then we do. That's something we have to get fixed. Okay, so this is a house where the previous owners actually lived in this area here. It's a mess right now, as you can see. This was completely rotted out. We've had to lay down new boards so we could get from this building out to that part of the dock because of that problem right there. And here you can see, this is all mainland around here. Okay, when we go into here, this is what we call the restaurant, due to the fact that it used to be a restaurant. We're very creative. So this building, we absolutely love it. The rope's hanging down. We bring our hammocks out almost every evening, listen to music. We've watched the dolphins off of here. It's just so peaceful and so relaxing. This is Shepherd Island here, Cristobal back there, and again, that's mainland, that's closer in. This dock obviously needs a lot of refurbishment. And down here, it's silty and too dark, but we have an amazing coral reef right here, right off the dock, that once we get out on the water, I'll show you some better pictures of it. So that's it. That's the dime tour of our property that didn't even cost you a dime. Again, there's so much work to be done here, and as we make serious progress, I'll update you on things, not every little thing, because again, this isn't about Brian and my experience here in Panama. This is more about Panama. But I will show you like what can be done maybe to your property if you think of getting into something like this. It's an adventure. It's definitely an adventure, and it's not for everyone. But if this is your cup of tea, living in the jungle kind of remote and building your own thing from scratch, I tell you, it's the way to go. We love this place. We're enjoying it so much, and I'm looking forward to sharing even more with you. So next week, we'll have another video, so make sure you subscribe. I don't know what it's going to be yet because I'm super busy right now, but I'll see you next Friday.